No,
turn my
we got
volume. Is
it.
that louder? No, that's still.
Wow.
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 Welcome to episode 72 of the Backlot 605 podcast. You are joined by Owen Wilson on the line. Owen, how you doing?
Wow.
Wow.
We got two Owen Wilsons.
It's just stereo.
I'm keeping this in because why not? This is going to be a fun episode. I am your host, Casey Kelderman. Join with me on the line, my co-host, Brian Mensing.
What's up?
What's up? And joined with us for the first time since our live show. He is the fat dude who digs the flicks, Andy Heller.
Hey, everybody. How's everybody's quarantine
Yeah.
going?
It's isolating.
It's lonely. It's a
I'm
little
turning
quiet.
into Jack Nicholson in The Shining. I'll admit it. It's happening. I've been running around with a tennis ball, just chucking it at the wall for hours on end.
I would say if any of us were to snap, I would put my money that maybe it would be you first. So,
Thank you.
Don't forget, I've got twins.
oh, never mind. I just changed my money.
Brian's going to go down his hallway and see his boy standing at the end of the hallway. Come play with us, Daddy.
It's not even a long hallway. It's not even a long hallway.
Oh,
I'm
just turns the corner.
I'm just gonna turn around, close the door behind me.
Oh boy, guys, we're gonna have some fun on this episode. Hopefully, everybody can hear us clearly. We're trying this new fancy technology out because we want to keep our distance from each other because we want to be safe. We want to be smart, but we also want to talk about movies. So that's why we're here.
Because
right.
people need
Go ahead,
people need things to do and listen to while they're in quarantine. So why not listen to us?
Yeah, and we want to follow those rules of social distancing, and so much so that we are way more than 6 feet apart. So good job, guys.
Miles apart.
Miles apart.
We're doing a great job. We're doing our part. We're trying, and yeah, I'm excited to do this episode because we've been planning this one for a while. Even though it ties into nothing because no movies are in the theaters right now. But
why were what were we going to tie it into though?
Yeah, the main topic for this week was going to tie into Disney's live-action remake of Mulan, where today all three of us, myself, Brian, and Andy, will all three of us will pitch two Disney live-action remakes in honor of Mulan. So yeah, that's going to be the main topic for the week. I'm excited to hear what you guys have come up with. I only know one of Andy's. Yeah. I don't know any of Brian's. So it's going to be fun.
I think this will be fun.
Mine will probably just sound half-assed.
That's all right. It's at least part of an ass is better than no ass. So that's
exactly.
Good.
And then there's The Lion King. So you can do no worse than that, Brian.
God.
The
less we say about that, the better.
I tell you what, I'm looking through the movies, knowing what you guys had picked and whatnot, and I'm looking through and I'm like, okay, I don't want to do this whole The Lion King and Lady and the Tramp and talking animated animals, and I'm like, there is not much left.
It's true. It's hard. Disney has made this difficult.
They made it very difficult, and even to the point where that's why it spent me so long. I'm like trying to figure out what am I even going to pick, and I'm like, talk about down to the wire.
Well, even more so, they just announced this week. We'll tie this into the news. Why not? They announced their cast of the Disney live-action remake of Peter Pan, so that was taken off the docket for us.
Yeah.
Two relatively unknowns have been cast as Peter and Wendy, but I didn't even know this was on the plan for them.
I think we talked about it a little bit because I purposely skipped over Peter Pan. So either that or I just happened to come across it by accident, I guess.
Yeah, and I just kind of assumed that they would get to Peter Pan before before you know it.
Get to the the big heavy hitters,
right?
And / classics that they probably have in public domain to try to resecure them.
Yeah, though I was really disappointed that I had to take Pinocchio off the list because it was soon after you asked me if I would do this. I was like, oh yeah, I'm doing Pinocchio easily. Well, then they announced that, hey, we're going into production soon on Pinocchio. I'm like, oh, awesome.
Disney is?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think that's what I heard. So
well, because they're between that and the Guillermo del Toro one, and like there's like 4 different Pinocchios in like pre-production.
Yeah, and even if it's just the Guillermo del Toro one, there's no need to fan cast that. He's going to do an incredible job with it. I have no doubt. So,
And for that one, like I don't know about you, Andy, I would have probably picked Del Toro to do it anyway,
oh yeah,
just because he seems
absolutely.
like a perfect fit for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
The other piece of news that we got here, so we are not going to be doing a box office because one, there is no box office right now, and probably for the next couple of weeks. But there was a little movie news and some other movies getting shuffled around during this COVID-19 madness that we have going on.
Yeah,
Uh, One of the first ones we should talk about here is the Black Widow movie is getting pulled from its first weekend of May release date.
saw that coming though. I mean,
Yeah.
being that it took them so long to get Mulan, I'm surprised they finally announced it this early on. But it was expected. If Fast and the Furious was going to move, Universal was going to move that, Disney was going to move Black Widow.
Yeah, this was one that it's just a kind of a consequence or a result of the circumstances, and I feel like every movie right now is very uncertain. So I don't know if you can really count on any of these upcoming releases to actually make their release date. Do we know what's the next thing to come out that hasn't budged yet? Do we have any idea what that is?
I don't know if I've even looked.
Yeah, I mean,
That far ahead, because also in May is Saw was announced that
oh
it also got moved. I guess the
yeah,
Scooby Doo movie is the same
oh
day as
yeah,
Saw, and that one did not get announced yet. That'll be moved, so maybe that's
right.
our big return to the theater. Scoob.
And it'll
So
make $1 billion because we'll all be like, "Oh my god, we can leave the house again.
Let's go watch Scooby Doo.
Let's go watch Scoob."
I want to kind of point out the fact that Spiral got moved to May because it didn't want to compete with Michael Myers, so instead now it's competing with a global pandemic.
Yeah,
I think
which
we're all
is
in a Saw trap right now.
that's true. Yeah, we very well could be.
Other news is some movies that are hitting streaming a little earlier than expected. Let's talk about this week right now. The Way Back, Birds of Prey, and Bloodshot. If you're listening to this on day of release, these will all be out and available for purchase and for rent right now. So the movies that were just in theaters a few weeks ago are now available for you to purchase.
I think what the oldest one in that group is what Birds of Prey is probably the one that had the most
Yeah,
longevity,
Right.
which kind of surprises me. It's like why haven't they announced Sonic yet? Because Sonic came out the week after
Sonic comes
Birds of
out
Prey.
next week. Yeah,
Oh,
Sonic is set to come out next week.
yeah.
So they
And
they
Sonic
have
also made a lot of money, so they're
that's
probably not
true.
too worried about it.
this is true.
Uh, Also, even though it was scheduled to come out this week, we should certainly mention, we don't have to mention, but I'm going to, that Doolittle is also coming to VOD this week. So,
That
thunderous applause
that's a
for
movie.
that movie.
I legitimately forgot that movie existed until you
Uh,
just brought it up.
yeah, when I was scrolling through iTunes today to see if there had been anything new announced, I saw that was included, and I forgot about it, and I felt really happy that I forgot about it, and then my world crumbled because I remembered it exists.
Yeah, I saw that on Google Play just yesterday, and I was going through my stuff as well, and I was like, oh hey, look, that's a thing.
Ugh.
Well, there's two other movies that we want to talk about here that are getting early releases and stuff. One, let's talk about the new Kumail Nanjiani movie. The Lovebirds is going to make its debut on Netflix, I believe, the same day that it was supposed to arrive to theaters as well.
I think so. I think that's what they had said. So that's good that they're kind of keeping it at that original release date. But that's a pretty big get for Netflix, and
Mm-hmm.
I think good on them because I think in that situation that'll be a way that people will genuinely watch it instead of, because I don't know if it was one that I was going to rush out to the theaters to see by any means. I like Kumail. I can't remember who the woman cast in it is, but the concept looked good. It just wasn't one that I really was like, yeah, I have to make sure I see this opening weekend. But
It
now
it
that it's going to drop on Netflix, I probably will watch it that first weekend.
it kind of seems that ever since he won a couple awards for The Big Sick, that he's just everywhere, and I think that's almost going to do a disservice to him, because if he has continued all these ones that are like these I mean, like Stuber, for example. I mean, it didn't even look good.
Right,
And it's
right.
like he wants to do all these comedy things, and he's trying to be this leading man. I'm like, I can't see it. I love Kamal as well. I think he's absolutely hilarious, but
Have you
uh,
watched The Big Sick?
no, I know it's really good.
Oh,
I
Oh,
it proved that he's a leading man.
yeah, he is wonderful in that movie.
But it's also more of a comedic drama, whereas like some of these other ones are kind of leaning a little bit more. I don't know. Maybe this will be the exception as well.
Here's a thing. I just looked this up. I had not realized it until now that Michael Showalter is also directing this one, who directed Kumail in The Big Sick, who also is
Oh,
very notorious for writing Wet Hot American Summer as well.
so
Yeah, well,
So we
that's
might have a
good.
sleeper hit here with this film.
Yeah. Huh. Well, that's good. That's a confident kind of a
it's a
director that
boost.
I trust. So
Yeah, I think for Kumail, for the movie's sake, I don't think it would have made very much at the box office right now. There's not a whole lot of buzz on the film, and I just don't think Kumail is a bankable star yet. We'll
right.
see come this November when Eternals comes out. I think that will probably change people's minds on him very
Oh,
quickly. But
definitely.
right now, I don't think he's the bankable star. He's still kind of that indie guy, still the stand up turned uh, film actor. So I think he's waiting for that big breakout mainstream hit. Yeah.
And I think you're right. I think Internals is going to be a good place for that.
All right, and then this next one, this is also very unprecedented that we have not seen before. Is that Trolls 2 World Tour is going to hit streaming the same day that it was scheduled to hit theaters. So the few theaters that might possibly still be open will get the film, but for those of us that are staying at home and doing all our movie watching there, it'll be available to rent, very much like Invisible Man and The Hunt are right now. This will be available the day that it was supposed to be released.
Oh my.
That doesn't make me any more excited to see it.
It almost kind of makes me lose a little. I don't know. I mean, even with everything going on, the fact that it's the exact same day kind of it throws me off a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay, so I'm on two sides of this. One, I don't care about Trolls 2. I'm not going to watch it either way.
right.
But two, this is a big deal because I mean, Trolls 1 was a pretty big hit. That Justin Timberlake song is still on the air right now. But yeah, this for this movie to be hitting streaming the exact same day it's supposed to hit theaters is a very big thing. Do you guys see this sticking around as being a way that more movies are going to go, or do you think this is just a circumstance option for the studio?
I think it's all circumstance. I think they're gonna still stick with their windows while they still can.
Yeah, I agree. I think but at the same time, I also think that this is something that, because this is new, because this is different, um, we have to kind of see how this performs. I think this will be a case where they're really going to keep an eye on the charts to see if it makes any money, to see if people are responding to it, and then if it is successful, who knows? I mean, we could see more instances of things like this happen, but I think overall, this is totally a circumstantial. This is something that has any kind of a big deal because of what we're kind of going through right now. But who knows? Who knows what the future holds
Mhm.
after all of this stuff?
Maybe the COVID-19 will be the death of the theater.
Ugh, oh no!
Maybe Trolls 2 will be the start of it, and that's the beginning of the apocalypse right there.
Oh,
The only
That's too long.
the only thing I see with this is that I don't think this will be a trend that many films will follow. But what I could see is that the early home release will be moved up even closer now,
Yeah,
where you could see a movie in the theater 1 month and then maybe 2 3 weeks later it's already available to rent at
yeah.
home. Maybe for the $20 that it's going around out at right now. So, but I don't think it's going to be the death of theaters because of this. I just think I think it's just a step that the studio had to take during this time to get the movie out, to get it out there in the public, because there's been a lot of promotion for it right now for that release date, and to push it back any further, that could mess up some of their other releases, and it probably just made the best sense to just put it out on VOD on its original release.
Right.
I would have to agree.
Yeah.
All right, so we got to one last piece of news that we should talk about. It's not necessarily movie related, but we'll talk about it anyway. This is news for Disney's The Mandalorian season 2. Rosario Dawson has been cast as Clone Wars and Rebels star and main character of the Clone Wars series, Ahsoka Tano. So, for people who don't know who Ahsoka Tano is, she in the Clone Wars animated series was the Padawan to Anakin Skywalker, who later left the Jedi Order and kind of became this rogue. She wasn't really a Jedi even in Rebels. She was just this rogue agent that would come and assist the Rebels, but was never fully part of their alliance. So, what do you guys think of this news of their first, pretty much their first big animated character coming into live action?
I think this is awesome casting. I think she is fantastic. I think this was something that I think she wanted. Like, I think she was
Yeah.
really pulling for this part, and it. I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to do nothing but help that show because she's a fantastic actress, and this character is very interesting. I don't know a lot of the Clone Wars lore or a lot of the Rebels lore, but the episodes that I have seen, this character is just so much fun, and it's so cool to have this, kind of girl Jedi as the Padawan to Anakin as such a central figure, and she's great. So yeah, I'm excited for this. I'm really excited to kind of watch this character evolve into a different form, and I think especially in the Mandalorian, it'll be more grown up stories. Not saying that the Clone Wars or Rebels stories aren't mature, but it's just there's having a live action kind of way to tell the story. I think that lends itself to a more mature, more adult kind of interpretation of the character.
Hmm. I
Yeah.
just, I just,
I'm sorry.
what
Go ahead.
I was gonna say is I just enjoy Rosario Dawson. I think she's just overall fantastic. I think she does a good job in the work that she picks, and I mean, in terms of her use in the Netflix Marvel series and whatnot, she played a very valuable glue to kind of keeping all of those different series kind of in the same universe. She was kind of that overall that leaped over everything. Was I'm excited just to see her in it, period, regardless of what they put her in.
Yeah, she has been pushing for this for a while. She's wanted to play Ahsoka for a very long time, and Ahsoka, the character, is a character that Star Wars fans hated on first appearance because she was kind of this bratty teenage character, and now she's one of the most beloved characters in all of Star Wars. Period. No matter if you're a fan of the Clone Wars or the films, whatever it is, she's just one of those characters that fans have finally latched onto. And this is Dave Filoni's baby. This character, he's been nursing her since it's his creation from the Clone Wars, and brought her over to Rebels, and she played a very big part. And it's nice to see her show up finally in live action, because we've been as Star Wars fans, we've been waiting for this for a while, and to see her show up in Dave Filoni produced work is just gonna only enhance her character, because if anyone knows her as well as anyone should, it's Dave Filoni, the person that created her. So I think this is just perfect casting. It's cool to see even more connective tissue to the rest of the Star Wars universe in the Mandalorian. I don't need it's like bashing me over the head, But
Mhm.
I think including a Clone Wars character is very cool to the Mandalorian lore as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is awesome.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. Hopefully, this doesn't get pushed back. But yeah, well, that will be remain to be seen. All right, so we're going to continue on the Disney train here as we get into our pitches for Disney live action remakes. So, how this is going to work, each of us have two movies that we have cast with the main core characters that we thought were necessary for the film. And we have also chosen a director to helm said film. So, with that being said, do we? I want to go one at a time. So, whoever wants to kick it off, otherwise, I can kick it off. Up to you guys. So, yeah, I'll open it up to the group.
Dun dun dun.
Well, Brian, would you like to go first?
Sure, I'll try to get my poorly done one out of the way. Um, I because I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna say is that there is a couple instances in when I was trying to determine how I would cast these things that giving the particular people that were doing the voice casting or the voice cast of the originals, I think were kind of up to the challenge of doing it for live action. Um, the first one and this first one here, I had a trouble with the idea of trying to figuring out how to get a director for it. But the first one I went through is I get like I said earlier, trying to find a movie that wasn't an animated dog or an animal or something like that was damn near impossible. So the first one I went through was Up, because I think it would be a nice fantastical story to be able to see live action, especially with the balloons in the house and the whimsical world that they travel to.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So
All right. And this we did establish beforehand that Pixar films do count. They are under the Disney banner. We will allow them. So if anyone's complaining about it's not a Disney movie, it's still a
yes, it
Disney
is.
movie.
It's still a
Yeah, it
Disney
is.
movie.
Disney's making the money off of it, so yeah.
Yeah. All right. Up.
Heck, as I was looking for Disney movies, it threw me off a little bit here because Spies in Disguise was on that list. I'm like, what? Oh wait,
Wait a second.
that's one of them ones that they got in they got in the buyout. So yeah, so I mean, first and foremost, the first character that you kind of have to obviously uh cast for this here is going to be Carl, which is the old man. Um, and the original voice actor for Carl was Ed Asner, which if you just even look at Carl, he screams Ed Asner.
Oh
Like
yeah.
he you can definitely tell that they made his character look like the man that was voicing him. And I legit honestly think it would be a disservice to somebody who's been in the game for as long as he has to not allow him to be the live action version of himself.
Yeah.
Crickets?
Yeah. I think that's perfect. No, I think that's perfect. I
Yeah,
just
I think he does. He looks exactly like him. I'm a little scared for his health because he's old. I don't
that's
want him to
true.
be floating on any balloons or getting chased by dogs. I'm a little
See,
worried about his health. But yeah, he's the obvious choice for this character.
yes. Yes. Um I know, and that's that and I honestly I had to the spin it the exact same way with the main villain, which is the Charles Muntz character. Is voiced by the uber talented Christopher Plummer.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, you're talking about a man who definitely has earned his weight in gold when it comes to the work that he's done over the years. I actually was looking at while I was doing the research here, looking him up to realize he only started getting nominated for awards basically recently, and I'm like, really? This
Right.
man got a fantastic career, but yeah, I would love to see Christopher Plummer in that evil villainous role. You don't get to see that very often from him. You have, but you don't get to see it very often because he always has to play like at this point right now he's got to play the grandpa to everything. He's got to play the grandpa in Knives Out.
Yeah, he was so good at it too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's why it's like you don't fix what's not broken. And
Yeah.
those two specifically in this movie, I immediately just had to tell myself, you know what, there is no replacing them. Plus, especially if you're looking for somebody, I'm not going to go Guy Pearce and Prometheus kind of thing, and I'm not just going to cast some young person and put old people makeup on them. I'm going to put an old person in an old person's role.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hashtag old people need jobs too.
Right. Um, and then there is Little Russell. Little Russell, and that one actually it did take me a little bit here, and I got to get him pulled back up here because I it was one of those things that I actually had to try to figure out if I could find a young actor that I knew that some other people would actually know, um, and to get in the same instance, the Russell character, he's an Asian American character, and so I wanted to do justice in that if you're going to make a live action, you're going to put the same respective type of person in that role. And there's a little kid, I think he's like 13 now. I have to pull him back up here. His name is Ian Chen. He plays the youngest brother off of the ABC series that just finished up called Fresh Off the Boat. And I
Ah,
think
he was also in
Oh
Shazam.
Yes, and he was also in
yeah.
Shazam,
Yeah.
and I think he would just have the energy and the ability to pull off the Russell the character that we got to see.
Yeah. He's really fun on that show. I like him.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did take me a little bit to try to figure that one out. Um,
Right.
and then for me, your other one uh is Doug. Obviously, you got to cast for Doug. The one time I had the instance where I'm like, damn it, I have to find a voice for a damn dog. Um, but I'm going with a trend that I didn't know was a thing until while doing this research here. Is Doug is needs to be played by Alan Tudyk
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
because
Can I ask a question with that? And I think you
yeah.
were probably just going to answer it. Is he doing mocap on the dog?
Oh my god.
Well, it's an honest question. He's done it before. It's not like he's a stranger to it.
No, but you know what? You say that now, and like all of a sudden now I want Sean Gunn to be the mocap for the dog.
Tudyk can do it. He can do it all.
Yes, yes, he can. No, I mean, as long as the dog doesn't look horrible like Call of the Wild, we're okay.
That's what I'm saying. We got to get Tudyk in there. If he was the dog in Call of the Wild, that would have made $1 million
Oh yeah.
more.
With Disney money, they'll
Yeah,
get good stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And frankly, if you needed to get a voice actor for Kevin, well, Kevin just squeaks, so just have Alan Tudyk do that too.
He can just play make it a one man show. Make Alan
Yeah.
Tudyk
He
at
can
every
play
part.
everyone. Yeah.
Well, so in my findings here is that ever since 2012, I think Alan Tudyk is turning into the next John Ratzenberger.
Yeah.
That Alan Tudyk has been in every Disney film since 2012.
Wow. Every
Wow.
Disney animated film?
Everything,
Wow.
including like
Wow.
like the stuff for Star Wars.
Oh, yeah. Huh.
So yeah,
I think we've mentioned this on the show. I think we should just start our Alan Tudyk fan club, right? I mean, we've been pushing for it for a while. He's our boy. I think we all agree on that. And him in anything just makes sense to me.
oh, Alan Tudyk is fantastic.
All right,
Yeah,
who
he's
do
great.
you got as your director for this? That's what I'm curious about.
That is the one I could not figure it out. I legit just could not find somebody that I think that would fit the bill for this.
Can I pitch someone?
Absolutely.
Ready for this? Chris Columbus.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I would be okay with that because he definitely understands the child whimsical side of things.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that would be I'm yes. I If that would be the kind of thing where if I would have actually had thought about that, I would be completely on board with that. I mean, he's
Yeah.
a prime example of why I think the Harry Potter series did as well as it did right out of the gate is because they gave it to somebody who understood the childlike material when they were starting that series.
Yeah, and I think with him I mean, I'm looking at his list here. He's never done a Disney movie,
No.
and I think he would fit that kind of whimsy pretty well. And he's got to make up for his last film, Pixels.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. What's wrong with Pixels? You're a huge fan of Adam Sandler.
I do like the Sandman, but Pixels didn't do it for me.
Oh, you couldn't buy Kevin James as president of the United States?
I can't buy Kevin James as anything.
I would not buy Kevin James as anything.
No, he can play a UPS driver in King of Queens, and that's about it for him.
Who was he running against that he was the one that won the election?
It was probably just our election that we're going to have this year. All right, is that what you got for Up? Any other?
That's what I got because I mean, pretty much outside of that, it was just a couple like John Ratzenberger is like the construction guy at the beginning of the movie kind of thing. Where outside of that, there really isn't anybody.
All right, all right. Andy, do you want to go next, or would you like me to go?
Um, yeah, I'll go ahead and go. This
All
will be
right.
my first one. So I'm gonna do this one first because for my second one, I've got a crazy idea. So okay, so for the first one, this is Atlantis, the Lost Empire. I think Atlantis is a lot of fun. It is a story of a uh, wannabe adventurer who somehow stumbles into a quest to find the famous lost city. And he has a weird assortment of characters that all go on this adventure together. With a couple of people who you think are on the good guys, but they are not. They are very, very bad. So, who do you cast in this movie? Actually, first off, I'll go with my director for this one.
Matt
Uh,
Damon.
Matt Damon. So originally, I thought that maybe I would go with James Bobbin, the director of Dora, the Lost, whatever that Dora movie
The
was.
Lost. Yeah,
Yeah, because
that
there's
thing.
a sense of action, but for kids, and I think he handles that really well. He also directed the Muppet, the remake, the Muppets, and Forgetting Sarah Marshall, I think, was his movie as well. So I think he's got a really fun, kind of freewheeling style. But I changed my mind at the last second. For something like this, you need a director who can really master visual effects. The easy answer would be James Cameron, but I don't love James Cameron as much as so many other people do.
It's
So
not named
I'm going
Avatar.
no, it's not Avatar, and that's all he's doing for the next 50 years. I'm going with Robert Zemeckis, the director of Forrest Gump and the Back to the Future series, as director of Atlantis. And in Robert Zemeckis' version of Atlantis, we're going to take some interesting casting choices. For the role of Milo, the main character voiced by Michael J. Fox in the Disney original, we're going to keep it as a nerd, and not a buff nerd, but a nerd that I think that if given the right opportunity can really carry something, because he carries the hell out of a podcast that I listen to. I'm going to cast Griffin Newman from Blank Check and The Tick as Milo. I think he is fantastic, and I think he would be to have him have some kind of breakthrough would be awesome. He is probably the smallest star, like, the least known actor that I have cast in this movie, but he is going to carry this movie to box office gold. Uh, Princess Kita will be played by Sophia Boutella. I
Ooh.
think she's a good fit for this movie. The Mole, which is a French kind of demolition expert. No, he's not the demolition expert. He's a kind of a scavenger. For the Mole, I have from The League, Jason Mantzoukas, because you need a wild comedian to kind of play that role. Uh, for Vinny, the explosions expert, I have J.K. Simmons. That will kind of make him gruff, and he's a little bit older, but I think he's the tough kind of uh, uh, cornerstone of this group. For Audrey, I have Gina Rodriguez. That was one of the easiest casting choices because she's awesome, and I think for that character you got to have a spunky woman, and she is so full of energy, and I love her. Actually, the easiest to cast was strong bear sweet, who is Terry Crews. He is this big like lovable chef, and I want, or like, I think he's not the chef. I don't know. I can't remember, but I think he's a cook. But yeah, Terry Crews. And then for Cookie, who is kind of the old, crazy, senile cook, I have Richard Dreyfuss, just because I think he would be a lot of fun to kind of put in this bizarre character role. So those are our heroes. So this is a big cast. So then you've got to get to the villains. So for Helga, the second in command of the villains, I have Elizabeth Debicki from the Man from Uncle, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and I believe the upcoming Tenet. And then as Rourke, the main villain, the kind of like friend of our hero's grandfather. You want to go with someone just a little bit older, but because Griffin Newman is like, still kind of young, you can kind of fudge a little bit. So our villain, Pierce Brosnan, ladies and gentlemen, Pierce Brosnan as the villain in Atlantis, the Lost Empire, starring Griffin Newman, baby.
That is an inspired choice. It's Milo, but I love it. I've been binge listening to the Blank Check podcast for like the last 2 weeks.
It's so fun.
It's so much fun. He's great. Yeah, I think you're right. I think he's ready for a breakout, and this would be a good spot for him.
I just think it would be fun to see him, like, he played Arthur in The Tick so well, and I think it would be fun to kind of give him the opportunity to play something that people will see. So yeah, I
Are you
think
saying that nobody watched The Tick?
sadly not a lot of people watched The Tick, not because it was bad, but just because Amazon did a wonderful job promoting that show.
Yeah,
So
can you imagine if they and I say this as being the guy that wanted to see it and still hasn't yet.
yeah.
Um but is you do you think that The Tick would have been better off if it would have gotten the same kind of backing that, like, say, The Boys did?
Yes, absolutely. And I think, but I also think at the same time that it's such a weird show because it's such a,
It's very niche.
yeah, and it's while it's a superhero show, it's also a parody of superhero shows, but in a different way than that The Boys is a parody of it. So I don't know. I just think The Tick has always been one of those properties that it seems to be ahead of its time, even though we've released it 3 different times and nobody's running with it.
I
So
still miss the Patrick Warburton version.
yeah, and I love the cartoon, so
Mhm.
I'm with you. It's good stuff.
Yeah, I haven't seen Atlantis since probably 2002.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
probably been longer than that since I've watched it.
yeah. Well, it came out in '01. So
Well,
yeah, I think for most of us, this is one of those forgotten Disney films. Besides for when it came out.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a really fun adventure movie, and one that just really fell through the cracks at the time and over the course of history. It's one that we forget about, but I think it's a lot of fun and a really entertaining story. So I chose that one, and if they do something with it, if they do it well, it could be very successful.
All
yeah.
right, I dig it. I'm glad someone picked that one. That's one that Disney, unfortunately, I don't think would do it because no one
No,
remembers it, like we mentioned. But
right.
it's primed for a remake, though.
Yeah, it's the one nobody cares about, so we'll
Yeah,
never see it.
Wouldn't that be
uh,
Treasure Island?
that's
Good call.
that's that's another one as well. All right, so I will go to my first one here. My first one I have on the docket is during the Disney Renaissance era, 1996's The Hunchback of Notre Dame. So
Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start with my cast and build up to who I have directing this.
Tim Burton.
So first up, let's start with our main character, Quasimodo. Okay, so obviously, I am probably not going to find an actor who is a hunchback that can sing and swing like Quasimodo does in this movie. So we are going to have heavy makeup effects on this character, including a little CGI, especially for the hunchback part. I think is more so, but I want practical effects for his facial makeup. So for this character, and I'm keeping the musical aspect to this as well. Uh,
Awesome.
so we're going to keep all the songs. If Disney wants to add one or two new songs, whatever. If Esmeralda needs her own song, that's fine. Whatever. We'll let the Disney execs figure that part out. But for the role of Quasimodo, I am going to give it to Elijah Wood
Ooh.
Ooh.
from Lord of the Rings fame. Yeah, I think he's been on this role as this indie guy for the last while. He's kind of dropped out of the limelight a little bit and is stuck with a lot of more genre type of movies. And I think putting him back in the leading role, it's he's primed. Like he, of course, was the leading man in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and he's obviously knows how to handle a franchise. So giving him the role of Quasimodo made sense to me. And he also does have some singing background as well, because he does sing in a few of his roles, including a voice work in Over the Garden Wall, which was this short-lived animated series where he played the main character and had a few singing scenes. So he does have a singing voice as well.
Good.
Yeah.
Nice. Good choice.
Yeah.
And I think he would be all for all the makeup work that would have to go into this as well.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh
All
definitely.
right. This is the one I had the hardest time with was Esmeralda. So the main love interest for the film, she had to, play this. It has to be this gypsy type of character, but we're also setting it in this Italian times, and so I'm gonna go with the actress of Aisling I'm going to screw up her name first of all. Francisco. She played the main character in The Nightingale from last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's time for her to break out for the masses. She was fantastic in The Nightingale. She also sung in The Nightingale, which helps with this casting here.
Yep.
And I didn't want to go too overly sexualized, which you could definitely go with in this role. So I think I want to keep it very conservative with this character and just put a great actress who can sing in this role.
Yeah, I think that's a really good choice. I think it's it's one of the things that I kind of ran into in casting was you want to have people that are known, but then also throw in some of those like actors that fans of movies would know, but maybe they're not super famous. And I think her as a choice is that's a good pick. Really good pick.
All right, so let's get to the villain, Frollo, Claude Frollo. He is one of the most diabolical, most evil Disney villains. Has a great villain song in this movie, and some of my picks are going to make a lot more sense when I get to the director. But I'm going to go with Hugo Weaving in this role.
Yeah.
So yeah, Hugo Weaving obviously played the villain in The Matrix, Captain America, the First Avenger.
He gets.
No stranger to the villain role.
I was gonna go with one better for you. He gets to reunite with Elijah Wood.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
Yes, he does. So let's get to. So I'm kind of picking. So Elijah Wood, he's been out of the limelight for a while. Obviously, Aisling is just pretty much an unknown actress. Hugo Weaving isn't bringing the box office number, so we need a star in this movie. So I have to go with the character, the good-looking, the charming Captain Phoebus. He is going to be where my movie star gets cast, and that will be Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, that's fair.
I didn't want to go too mainstream with it, but I'm like, it's a Disney movie. We need to have a movie star in this. And Chris is obviously part of the Disney family with playing Thor in the
Yeah.
Marvel films. So Yeah, I think he'd be fun, and we can kind of make him a little more goofy in this one. Let Quasimodo be the straight man to all this. Let him kind of be the goofy over machismo captain.
Oh, he could pull
Yeah.
that off.
Yeah, and I want to see Chris Hemsworth rock a goatee like he does in the movie.
Like one of those with the hair too. He's got to
Yeah.
pull off the entire look.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah,
As long as
yep,
he
for
doesn't
sure.
look too much like, Thor.
Oh, I'm shaving the beard. He's getting that single, just the under chin goatee. That's all he's getting for facial
Yep.
hair.
That
All
works.
right.
Prince Valiant haircut.
Hell yeah. Of course, I mentioned we need to have music in this, and this is where my musical choices will come in here. For the character of Clopin, who is the jester, the narrator type character in this movie, I'm going to go with Lin Manuel Miranda for this.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
It's not like he doesn't already have that working relationship with Disney on top of it.
yeah, he has that one of the best soundtracks in recent memory from Disney with Moana, and letting his character kind of be this sort of background narrator type character plays very well to Manuel's style. So I think he's going to fit in this role really well for this. And I would just, he needs to be in front of the camera a little more in these movies. So I just want to see him on the big screen.
You never saw Mary Poppins Returns, did you?
Did anyone see Mary Poppins Returns?
Andy did.
Yes, I
Andy did.
did.
Is he good in that at least?
He's
He's fine.
fine.
Yeah.
The movie's just as terrible. Like everybody's like the cast is good, but as someone who really loves like the original Mary Poppins, there is something wrong with this movie. That it's like so I don't know. It's like devoid of charm, but it like tries to really lay on like saccharin. It's bad. I do not like Mary Poppins Returns at all.
So this is going to be
Ugh.
Lin Manuel's bring
Redemption.
him back to the promised land for Disney movies. So we're going to bring him back.
This will be the only one that matters.
Yes. So the last of the three characters that I have are the three gargoyle characters. And I want these three characters even more so than they were in the original movie. I want them to definitely be more stuck in Quasimodo's head. I don't necessarily need them to be real life characters and fight in the end fight. I would like to leave put a little darkness in this, and that these are the only friends this guy has.
Yeah.
So for the three characters, the tall kind of stoic one is Victor is his name. Lee Pace is going to be taking on that role for me in this
Ooh,
one.
awesome.
I like me some Lee Pace.
Hugo is the shorter, stubbier, kind of the one-liner one. I picked Josh Gad because he is already attached to a Hunchback of Notre Dame movie.
Yeah.
I don't want him as Quasimodo, but I think having him here would be a perfect spot to have him in a voice role for this.
Yeah.
And then finally, Laverne, who is kind of the older woman gargoyle character. I'm going to give it to Glenn Close.
Oh.
Just because I like Glenn Close, and she has a working relationship already with Disney, and I
Yeah.
think she would fit this role pretty well.
Yeah, and she's a surprisingly good singer too, so.
All right, so the director for this film, it'll make quite a few of my casting choices make sense, and he has not done a movie in quite a while, and we have to bring him back because, damn it, I just miss him. Peter Jackson.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And I'm glad, I'm glad that you went with him because I had him as the director of my next one for a little while, and then I was like, wait a second, I got a better idea. But I think Peter Jackson would make this movie sparkle with magic.
Yeah, his last movies were the Hobbit movies, and those were what they were. But
Not good.
no, they're not great. They're not great. But I do want to see him. He's going to team back up with Elijah. He's going to team up with Hugo and Lee Pace again. So and introduce some new people to his cast, and I think he could do some really interesting things with the character of Quasimodo and the story of Hunchback of Notre Dame. And he's no stranger to doing practical makeup effects, which I want
Yeah.
this one to heavily rely on, especially for Quasimodo. So Peter Jackson is going to be directing the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Good choice. Good roll call. Good cast. Good director. Well done.
Go picture.
Go
Yeah.
picture.
If I were producer, you can take my money.
Let's go talk to Hollywood.
I'll go pitch this to Disney quick, and I mean they're probably they're probably taking a break from stuff right now. I could probably pitch it to them.
Oh yeah, they're kind of desperate right now. So
Yeah. All right, so let's get to our last pitches from all three of us. Brian, go ahead with your next film.
All right. So I kind of had to keep myself. I left myself in the Pixar universe, because there is some good stuff in there that I think that would definitely translate well. And my next pick actually was The Incredibles. Uh, the obviously Disney had does their superhero stuff via the MCU and all, but it would be just kind of nice to see a superhero movie that is not your conventional superhero movie and to come out of them. I think would work very very well. Uh, so yeah,
yeah.
so this one actually. Again, I did take a couple of different liberties with this one here, but I think they're justified liberties. So if you don't like them, tough. Um,
Too
But
bad.
too bad. Granted, there is a couple of them where I sit there and I was like, well, I can't do that because, well, yeah. So, like, you start out with Mr. Incredible. I'm like, you know what? Craig T. Nelson, he did a fantastic job, but nobody's going to go to a movie to go see Craig T. Nelson.
Yeah.
So I had to think about somebody who I think could potentially fit the role in terms of the big, the bulky, the Superman type of person. So I was like, you know what? Let's just have some fun with this and let's just put Henry Cavill as Mr. Incredible.
Oh, all right.
Because I mean, come
Mustache or no?
on. Oh no, we're gonna digitally remove that mustache.
No.
Oh
Oh
no!
no, keep the stash.
Stash him up.
We're gonna make
Blonde
sure
stash.
we do this after some sort of Warner Brothers thing or whatever, where he gets in. No, I know, I'm kidding. Um, So yeah, I mean, we obviously know that Henry Cavill, he's got the build, everything like that, for the sake of the Superman type, the one who looks like he's going to be able to have the super strength and whatnot. And people will still, go to a movie because his name is attached to it. I mean, he's not by all means like grade A, bring in the millions and millions of dollars, but he still has a good name attached to him, I think. Next thing I went with for is the wife. So because obviously I want to try to be able to find people that are in kind of the same age range because there's kids involved. Um, I went with somebody who I thought would be able to pull off Elastigirl, and I went with Anne Hathaway. I think
Yeah.
that she definitely has the stature for it. I think she has the chops for it, and obviously we know that she can do the skin tight latex suit via Batman quite well, and I think would be a good choice for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah. She
you're
she
just
even she even looks like the older version of Violet too.
well, and
Yeah.
that's where I was kind of going with it. Is, with some of these ones, I'm like, okay, we have predetermined ideas of what these people look like, so I wanted to try to see if I could find somebody that kind of fit that bill. To that respect, that's kind of where I kind of went with that here. In terms of Violet, just because that she's the angsty teen, she's gonna be the one that's gonna be a little bit darker because she's again just wants to be who she is. And I went with Joey King. You
Yeah.
sound puzzled.
No, she's
No,
just not in good movies. She's
No,
a
but
she's a fine actress though. That
well,
she's fine.
and it's oh my god, and all of a sudden it's escaping me. The Hulu series that she was just in, um, is what kind of made me turn towards that is because of the dark the kind of the dark character that she had in that series. And
The Act, is that what you're
yes,
talking about?
yes, yes. Um, and then I had to go. I had to try to find somebody young and whatnot for the sake of Dash. Um, and weirdly enough, he is actually part of the Disney Channel crew. Is August Maturo. He played the younger brother in Girl Meets World on the Disney Channel. He'd be the right age. He definitely would have the energy to be the type of person that Dash was, super fast and all over the place. Um, in the show, I think he really did a good job of being that same kind of person. Actually, um,
I just pulled up his IMDb. He looks like Dash. It's weird.
Yeah.
exactly. Yes.
It's weird.
All right. So the next one I have here is I had to go with Frozone, and well, I again, I'm not going to break what's not break what's already there. Is I wanted to go with Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
He has that swagger that only he's going to be able to pull off for Frozone, and there's nobody else is going to be able to pull that off. I had to go with Sam Jackson, and hey, he's the biggest box office numbers guy on the planet, so why not put Sam Jackson in it?
It's all because of him too. It's because of no other movie. It's not because of the two big franchises he was in.
Nope, not at
He is the
all.
draw. What's this? A Star Wars movie? Pah. Samuel L. Jackson's in it? Okay.
Snakes on a Plane, highest grossing movie ever.
You know what? Iron Man was fine. It was all right. It was a decent movie. But I'm telling you,
That
after the credits were over, holy shit, that movie was genius.
Should have been won a Best Supporting Actor for that.
All right. So the one of the other people that I thought would need to definitely be cast is for Edna Mode, the nice little crazy little chick that makes all their super suits. And I've actually known this lady for a long time because she was actually in a movie called License to Kill. If Looks Could Kill, excuse me, If Looks Could Kill, from the '90s, and it's Linda Hunt. She
Perfect.
most recently was on what, NCIS.
Yep,
Uh,
perfect.
Perfect. I mean, you need that small, sassy little, and yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
Corey's
I
like,
don't think there's
"Hey,
anyone else you could cast because the internet has already cast her as this.
oh, has they?
Oh yes.
Oh, okay, that is completely I did not know that. I didn't even look because as soon as I got into that, I immediately started looking for her name because I didn't know it off the top of my head. And I was like, I knew exactly who I want. That was like the only one that is like off the top of my head. I knew exactly who I need to put in there because I can't put in there who actually is the voice of Edna Mode. So, all right. So then the last one here that I have for voice acting is we need the voice of Jack Jack. And I'm gonna go with my same rule from before, and I'm gonna put Alan Tudyk in everything, and Alan Tudyk's gonna be the voice of Jack Jack.
Oh. Yeah.
Why not?
Why
Yeah.
not?
Oh, hey.
Yeah,
Do you have more to come? Do you have another
just the director.
'cause- Oh, you don't have a bad guy?
Oh shit, I skipped over him. Sorry. Nope, you're right. I
Okay.
did. I was like, wait, as you said bad guy, I'm like, wait, I didn't even talk about Syndrome.
Yeah, give me that syndrome.
I want Jack Black.
Yeah.
He's got, for the sake of how they drew the body type of Syndrome, he can definitely pull off that I'm entitled to being who I am, and I think he's had a good run here as of lately, especially with like the Jumanji ones. I think you put him in anything and he's going to do exactly what you need of him.
Yeah.
And I want to see Jack Black as a villain because we don't get to see that.
I want to see Jack Black finally get his superhero movie that he's been waiting to do for a while.
And what movie is that?
Oh, he was supposed to be Green Lantern.
Huh?
Oh.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be Green Lantern like before the Ryan Reynolds one. This was
Oh,
in production.
yeah.
Oh
Or in
wow.
pre-production at least. He was cast, yeah.
I wow, I can't even picture that.
It was going straight comedy. What PG-13 hijinks can he do with that ring?
Was
Right.
it I was gonna say, was it gonna go Green Hornet Seth Rogen kind of thing?
It was going to be like if Shallow Hal had the ring.
Oh. Oh,
Yeah.
that's painful.
And I like
Yeah.
Jack Black, so I think he could. The Incredibles tone would fit his comedic style much better than that would.
Oh, agreed. And this is saying something as to as somebody who will admit that he bought Shallow Hal and now realizes years later that that was not a great movie. Oh,
It's
how
not
do you
not a great movie.
how do you get Gwyneth Paltrow to do that? That was a paycheck movie.
That movie was a hit though. That was a
Yeah.
smash hit when it came out. So,
Really? I guess I don't
oh
remember.
yeah.
The early 2000s were a weird time.
Yes, yes, they were.
Ugh, ugh.
All right, who do we got directing The Incredibles?
And well, to be perfectly honest with you, I went with the idea of if it's not broke, don't fix it kind of thing, and I actually went with Brad Bird because he knows the universe. He's the one that helped create it originally. We obviously know for the sake of the Mission Impossible movies, he knows how to make a good action live action film, and I think he would be a just a perfect fit for it.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much the way to call it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I dig it. I was not a
If
fan of Tomorrowland, but he has obviously otherwise proved himself to be a great director besides that film.
Well,
So,
and that's exactly what I mean. I mean, you look at Brad Bird. If Brad Bird had stopped at only just doing Ratatouille and Incredibles, I probably wouldn't have gone that way. But knowing what he did with the Mission Impossible franchise makes me go, okay. I guess I didn't even realize he did Tomorrowland.
oh yeah, he did Tomorrowland. It's best we
We
forget it.
we try to forget about that one.
Yeah. He also did The Iron Giant, which is like one of the greatest animated movies ever, too.
Of all time. Of all
Yeah.
time.
Yes, this coming, when we've got Casey over here going, Vin Diesel doesn't do anything. No, I'm just kidding.
The Iron Giant is my favorite Vin Diesel role by far.
Well, it's just the other day when you're going off about him and bankable stars and everything like that. I was like, but he did the Iron Giant.
Was The Iron Giant a financial hit, though? I don't
No,
think it
it
was. Yeah.
tanked. Yeah, it
Yeah.
tanked.
Still the greatest Superman movie ever made.
Oh yeah, by a long shot.
I dig it. I like Brad Bird. I want to see him do some more live action stuff.
Yes, I think
Yeah.
he's fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, Andy, let's get to yours, the one that either you've been regretting or been waiting to do.
All right. So I'm going to preface this. I have two different approaches to this movie. Now, my second approach, I don't have a cast, I just have a director. So I'm going to save that one for the end. But for the first approach to this movie, this is by far, without question, this is my least favorite Disney movie ever. I hate this movie. I hate this movie so much. So,
So much
what do
that
we
you
do?
wanted to recast it.
Yes, it needs to be better. And I think if you make it live action with the right people, you can make it interesting. So, I am doing The Black Cauldron. This is a weird foray into fantasy of the early 80s that I think was spearheaded by Don Bluth, who is a great mind with animation, but wow, this movie sucks. Uh, so
Tell us how you
It's
truly feel.
it's not great.
I really don't like this movie. Like I want to be kind of like, oh, it's fine, but no, I really dislike this movie. So I think what you want to do is you want to give it a really strong creative mind who's not afraid to get a little dark and kind of spooky and like just bring the best out of everything, but while still kind of maintaining that family feel to it. And I think you take a horror director who has dipped his toes in the family pond over time. So for my version of the Black Cauldron, I am using Sam Raimi as the director for this movie. I think in doing that, you've got someone who knows blockbusters, but also has a really kind of creepy sensibility. And this is coming from someone who doesn't always love Sam Raimi's movies, especially the Wizard of Oz thing that he did. That's like Tomorrowland. The less we talk about it, the better. but I think he's someone that can really bring this story to life. And what is this story? Just in case you don't know what the Black Cauldron is, and you're doing yourself a favor by not knowing what the Black Cauldron is. Uh, this this cauldron possesses this great power, and this evil wizard, kind of like villainous demon thing, wants to get that power. So these people go on a quest to try to destroy it. It's basically Lord of the Rings, but with a big pot instead of a ring. So there you go. That's the Black Cauldron. So I thought for a little while, making a movie with stars, because that'll get people in. You do Tom Holland and Zendaya, just because everybody loves Tom Holland and Zendaya. But I'm not going to. I'm not going to go that route. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. His name is, I believe it's Aja Butterfield, as Taryn. Aja Butterfield was in Hugo and is currently on Sex Education on Netflix. I'm gonna put him in the kind of dorky hero role. I like my heroes as dorks, so we're going the right way there with him. I think he's a really good actor who also is very, very consistent, but just hasn't really had that chance to shine as brightly as he should. And I think putting him in a movie like this and having a really talented director at the helm, I think that will kind of help him, give him a breakthrough. Another person who I think deserves a breakthrough is, her name is Una Lawrence. She was in The Beguiled, and also was just released on Hulu, called Big Time Adolescence. She's a young actress, and I have her as the Princess Elonwi. I don't know what the character's name is. It's a princess. I think
The damsel in
she's
distress.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I think the thing with her is that she has a very unconventional princess look to her. The princess in this movie, the animated movie, is this blonde, your stereotypical design. But I think going with her, she's dark haired, kind of tomboyish. I think she has that energy to her where I think she could really thrive in something like this. I'm not spending a lot of time
Mhm.
talking about these characters because I really don't like this movie. I don't care about them. Plus,
She's also been in the Disney family. She was in the
oh,
Pete's Dragon remake as well.
that's right. That's right. And she was great in that. I forgot about that. Yeah, she was wonderful in that one. So then we're gonna go to our wizard, and we're gonna buck the kind of what the way that the animated movie is made. You got to have a star. You got to have an older gentleman in this role. And instead of going typical, Ian McKellen or Patrick Stewart, I'm going with Morgan Freeman as Fluter Flam, the wizard of the Black Cauldron. Because why not? Why not have Morgan Freeman assist these youngsters in their quest to destroy a pot? So, who is our villain? Who is the diabolical centerpiece of this movie? This creepy, crazy horned king. I think you've got Sam Raimi as director. You've got to put Willem Dafoe as your evil king. It can be his voice. It can turn into this demonic character. I'm fine with that. But I think Willem Dafoe here as the villain, playing a creep, is perfect. Yeah, so that's one take on the Black Cauldron. Uh,
I dig this take.
Thank you.
When you said Sam Raimi, I'm like, whoa, yeah, yeah.
Like,
Like I can
I,
see that. You have. I'm assuming part of this was a little Army of Darkness in here too.
oh yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, and this was one that I was like, when I was originally thinking about it, I was like, oh, Peter Jackson could do this. That would be fun. But I'm like, oh, who might be a little bit more fun? Like Sam Raimi would really be a good call for this one. But my other take, we're gonna take the Black Cauldron, we're gonna throw it in like a meth infested, like, place drowning in alcohol.
So just South
Uh,
Dakota.
yeah, yeah. Except in France, because for my other take on the Black Cauldron, I'm gonna say screw it, and we're just gonna let Gaspar Noé do whatever he wants to and make a fantasy like crazy movie because this movie at its core is nightmare fuel. It's just not nightmare fuel done well. And I think Climax is also nightmare fuel, not really done well, because I didn't care for that movie, even though people like it. I don't. But I think that if he's given a lot of money to do kind of a weird sorcery movie, people will probably die in the theaters while they watch it. So, uh, Gaspar Noé's Black Cauldron is my second approach to that movie.
I don't think Disney would approve of that one.
Listen,
But
they're desperate right now.
Weird.
They had to cancel all their movies.
that's true.
Weirder
He
things
can do
have
it for
happened.
like $25.
I can imagine the pitch meeting already. Like, you know the guy that did Climax. Let's just give him Black Cauldron.
That's
I don't
right.
care what he does with it, just give it to him.
What else did he do? Oh, Enter the Void, Love, Irreversible. You know, movies where basically they're spraying fluids at the camera or bashing people's heads in or going inside a uterus. Yeah, let's put him in charge of this movie.
Hey,
That guy.
That guy.
weirder people have been or set up for weirder things to pull off magnificent things.
Yeah, I think because this movie is just so outside of the Disney norm, I think giving it to somebody who is outside of like
The Disney norm, yeah.
the Disney norm would be an interesting approach. The one they would probably go with would be more the Sam Raimi style.
They probably
But
go with Tim Burton again.
yeah. But like if Bob Iger before he leaves gets really high, I think maybe Gaspar Noé has a shot.
That is an inspired choice. I dig it. I dig it.
Beyond inspired.
I thought it'd be fun.
That would be fun. Like you said, it doesn't matter who's cast in that movie then.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Put Matthew Kasovitz in it just because he can be the Horned King because I like him and Gaspar Noé likes him too. So, but other than that, I don't care who you cast. It'll be fun.
As far as your Raimi version goes, I dig the Willem Dafoe as the villain.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he could definitely pull it off in whatever look they want to do, and obviously he has the voice.
Right. Yeah. I think that'd be fun. I think that's a cool choice, and I think Raimi knows how to really just bring out the craziness in Willem Dafoe. So,
Oh yeah,
Spider-Man doesn't show that at all.
nah.
yeah. We were fighting over that one when we pitched this. We both were like Black Cauldron.
Black Cauldron.
Yeah, I didn't cast mine. I probably would have just been like, just let Del Toro do it. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I dig the Sam Raimi. That's a fun choice that would actually fit into what Disney would probably want with it as well.
Yeah, I think that would be good. Like that would actually make me want to see this movie. This godforsaken movie.
You just hate Black Cauldron, don't you?
I really do. Like I really do. I don't shut off many movies. Like I will try to finish everything. This movie, I felt like I was gonna die. I hated it. I'll try it again one of these days. I know, but
did you finish it?
no, I
Okay.
still have not finished it.
Okay.
So I'm casting this movie only having watched part of the movie. So
Yeah, I was looking up the runtime as you're talking. It's only an hour and 20. I'm like, oh my god, it's only an hour and 20. It feels like 3 hours long.
it's so long. Oh god.
I did have to look something up because I dawned on me here. Sam Raimi is also another good choice because he's already in the Disney family.
Yeah.
Wasn't
That
was his
terrible
Oz movie a Disney movie?
That's what I had to look up. Yep,
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yep. The Oz movie is Walt Disney Pictures.
Yeah. And he's doing the next Doctor Strange.
Yes.
Yeah, that'll be good.
I'm so looking forward to that.
All right, so I got the last one here. Brian, you've brought up this guy's name quite a bit. This is Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Well, you've been
Ooh.
binging on Tim Burton movies, so I figured his name was gonna pop up eventually.
Yeah, so I've been going through his filmography. I'm in a little bit of a Tim Burton kick right now, and this is one where I'm like, yeah, this would be fun to do live action. I think people already connect Tim Burton's name to this movie. This is his creation, his story, his characters. Originally directed by Henry Selick, but for my version of the Nightmare Before Christmas, I'm like, it's people call it Tim Burton's movie. Let's just make it happen. So I'm just going to let Tim Burton direct The Nightmare Before Christmas, so there's no more arguing on Tim Burton as the director of this film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for this pitch though, this is going to be my thing from Disney. This is going to be Disney's saying, "Hey, we're going to give you all the money you want to make this crazy kooky movie. Your and our only stipulation, and we're going to put it into your contract for this movie. This is your last movie. You're done. This is your swan song."
Yay!
Yeah,
Give him all the money.
so you're gonna get all the money, but you gotta be done. You can't. We're done. You can't be doing Dumbo 2. Can't be doing another Alice in Wonderland movie. You're done. We're giving you the money, and then you're done. Stop.
He he's only done one Alice in Wonderland movie.
Yeah, I know, but
That's one too many.
yeah, it is one too many. So he's like I mentioned with the two movies, Dumbo and Alice in Wonderland. No stranger to the Disney live action remake. But for this version, get rid of all that CGI, terrible looking CGI from like Alice in Wonderland, and Dumbo does not have great CGI either. So for this one, we're going back to those practical effects of like Beetlejuice and Pee Wee's Big Adventure and Edward Scissorhands. We're going to that style of Tim Burton. It's not going to try to be realistic or anything like that, like Dumbo was, but we're going to go fantastical with this movie, and you have to. And we're going to mix. It's going to be a little bit of a mixture between live action and stop motion, depending on where Tim Burton wants to put those elements into his movie. So for the character of Jack Skellington, again, I'm keeping it under the musical format as well. So for this character, I wanted to cast someone besides Danny Elfman, because I don't know if Danny Elfman could pull off the live action version of Jack Skellington.
Yeah.
See,
Uh,
no confidence, man.
yeah, no problem. Danny Elfman's doing the score. He's doing the score. Still getting paid. But for the character of Jack Skellington, I'm going to go with Jake Gyllenhaal as this character.
Ooh.
Ooh.
So Jake Gyllenhaal, he can pull off the little bit of the dark. He can pull off the loner character, which Jack very much feels in this film. And the dude can also sing. If you never heard Jake Gyllenhaal sing, he actually does have a really good singing voice. So I think it would fit very well with him. And yeah, as far as his look goes, I think I would kind of just want it to be, you know how in Beetlejuice the way that Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin shape their faces to try to scare the people in the house,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
how that feels. I kind of want that to be the look of Jack Skellington in this movie. So it's not going to
Yeah.
be fully like realistic skeleton head or too much animated. It's going to kind of be a little bit of both.
Yeah.
So for the character of Sally, the love interest in this film, the zombie, I guess she's pretty much a zombie. She's brought back to life from the Dr. Finkelstein character. So for Sally, I'm going to go with the Tim Burton regular, his new muse, thankfully, because she's a fantastic actress, Eva Green.
Ooh.
Yeah. Good call.
Yeah,
Good call.
she is the muse for Johnny Depp lately, or Johnny Depp, Tim Burton lately. A little bit of a replacement for Johnny Depp, which I'm a-okay for because I like her a lot better than Johnny Depp. Obviously, she worked with him on Lastly Dumbo, Dark Shadows, and yeah, so I think she's going to fit in this very well as this character, and she's no stranger to playing dark characters, including Penny Dreadful. So for the character of Oogie Boogie, don't worry, Danny Elfman's going to get paid twice for this movie, so I'm just going to give Danny Elfman the Oogie Boogie character. I think it makes sense that this is going to be the swan song for Tim Burton, that he has his boy Danny Elfman there. And we have the Oingo Boingo Oogie Boogie jokes to put in there. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, yeah, that's a
Uh,
good pick.
for the character of the mayor, I think this was a pretty obvious choice when I got to this one. Longtime collaborator with Tim Burton, Danny DeVito.
Yes.
Uh, yeah, it only makes sense. I'm ready for them to keep working together. He's obviously one of the best parts, and whenever he shows up in a Tim Burton movie, and yeah, I just like these two guys working together. I think DeVito understands Tim Burton's Burtonisms very well and understands where to play his character. So this would be a perfect character for him to portray.
Even in Dumbo.
Um, he's fine in Dumbo. Dumbo's
I,
not a great movie, but he's
I don't.
fine.
I don't know. I never
He's
saw Dumbo.
fine in it.
He's
It's
fine.
not good, but he's fine.
So for the character of Dr. Finkelstein, I'm going to go with another Tim Burton character actor, Steve Buscemi, because obviously Steve Buscemi, like could play this role in his sleep. He'd be perfect for it, playing the Dr. Frankenstein type character, and I think it'd just be a lot of fun to see Steve Buscemi all maked up and in a wheelchair and yelling crazy things.
That would be really good. I like that. It's fun.
So I picture him looking a little bit like his crazy character from Mr. Deeds. Was it no?
A little. I mean, he looks like Steve Buscemi. I mean, like you don't need to do much to him.
Yeah.
No makeup, no animation,
No,
just
just straight Steve
Buscemi.
Buscemi.
Just put some glasses on him, put him in a gown and a wheelchair, and he's already ready to go.
Heck yeah.
All right, and then we get to, of course, Sandy Claus. We got to have a Santa Claus in this movie, who Jack kidnaps and brings back to Halloween Town. And yeah, I'm gonna go with someone I just want to see as Santa Claus because I think it'd be so much fun. And that's Christopher Walken. Ho ho ho!
Yeah, it's Christmas.
Like I gotta have some more presents for these kids.
Jack, wow.
Oh my god.
Why are you coming down the chimney, Jack? That's my job.
On Dasher, on Dancer, on Prancer, on Vixen.
Wow. Comment.
Wow. So yes, who does not want to see that? Christopher Walken as Santa Claus. That is a casting before I did it, where I'm like, yeah, that's something I just want to see in my life. Christopher Walken as Santa Claus. He might be the real Santa Claus for all I know. It's never been disproven. So I
That's
think
true.
it'd be fun to have him. He hasn't done a Tim Burton movie, I believe, since Batman Returns.
All
Yeah,
I
probably not.
So I
all I
think
know all I know is now I want to see this. I just want to see a scrawny, thin looking suit Santa Claus, big old beard on him.
no, we're putting a fake big ass belly on Walken. There's no way he's
No.
being skinny. Yeah,
No. Oh,
I'm like really fat now.
I like cookies.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna have pretty much anybody who is a Tim Burton regular will pop up somewhere in this movie as some character. Michael Keaton, Paul Rubens, Johnny Depp, Helena Bottom Carter. They'll work it out to have a little cameo for her. So why not? Yeah, this is gonna be his big swan song. So we're bringing back all these people. For all I care, when he goes back into the real world, Pee Wee Herman's there. So that's where we get our Paul Rubens cameo. So yeah, that works for me.
Yeah,
I,
this is good. I would as much as I don't like Tim Burton over the last decade or so, I would see this if it were his last movie. Oh yeah.
Yeah, again, I'm working my way through his movies, and yeah, the latter half of his career it just doesn't hold up to the first half, and I
Right.
think giving him a swan song with his baby, really, like this is one of his most famous creations, and allowing him to go all out with his final film would be a lot of fun, I think, and let him be like I just want him to have the inspiration to do it because he has felt very uninspired for the last I don't know 8 to 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say so.
All right, so
Uh,
yeah, that's a Nightmare Before Christmas. Tim Burton finally will just get his name attached to it forever.
the hit's already there.
And I will also mention Henry Selick will be there helping with the stop motion stuff. So I'm not going to kick out the original director just because.
You don't want to be a dick.
Yeah.
Don't be that guy.
All right. So yeah, I would, guys, I would watch all these. I think we have cast better versions than I think Disney probably could.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, who doesn't want like an LSD laced
Gaspar Noé directed.
Somebody get Disney on the phone.
Somebody call Bob Iger and tell him Gaspar Noé wants to talk to him.
Look, Bob, before you go, you have a very important decision to make.
Do we do Black Cauldron with Gaspar Noé?
Do it. Sign him. He's a very successful filmmaker, Bob.
Do it. Oh, right. That was fun. Let us know, peeps out there listening, what you thought of our casting choices. Who would you cast in these? Would you go watch any of these? I don't know. Did we pitch movies that you would actually go out to the theaters and watch? Or watch at home, I guess, since that's what we have to do right now.
That's the thing right now.
Would you kick any of these to Disney Plus right away? What would you do?
Could you imagine the Gaspar Noé Black Cauldron on Disney Plus?
It is now.
I would stay up late on the evening of its release just to make sure that I watched it right away.
They only could play it at late night.
That's right. Disney Plus After Dark.
After dark. Make sure you binge Climax and Enter the Void before Black Cauldron.
Yeah, you gotta have those stepping stones.
That's right. So ease yourself into Gaspar Noé's The Black Cauldron.
His name's gonna be right above the title too. Big font.
Flashing Gaspar.
I think you have pitched the ultimate pitch right there. The one that is probably least likely to happen, but the one that should happen.
That's right. That's a game-ending pitch right there.
That's it. Disney will close down after that one.
That's exactly it.
Black Cauldron, the animated film, was almost the death of them. Why not have the live action version be the same?
Yep.
I think it's going to take a little bit more than the Black Cauldron to take down Disney.
Gaspar Noé's The Black Cauldron.
Yeah, don't doubt the Gaspar.
I don't know. I think it's going to take more than that.
Oh, all right. So yeah, that's been our Disney live action pitch a Disney live action remake. I want to keep doing these at some point. We'll find other topics to do in the future where we pitch some more movies, maybe our own versions of some other titles that we want to see remade as well. So yeah, with that being said,
with the way movies are going right now, we might have more options.
Yeah, we might have to just fill in some blanks here going forward. But yeah, with that being said, we should pitch it over. I'm going to pitch it over to Andy to plug anything and everything you got going on with Fat Dude Digs Flicks.
Yeah, you can follow Fat Dude Digs Flicks over on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I'm not doing as much as I usually do. I don't know if anybody really is with the way things are right now. But the goal is to put a lot more reviews out there. I'm backlogged by like 20 something reviews, so I've got to get caught up on those. But yeah, follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter for my movie reviews, random movie thoughts, and then my podcast is also on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher Radio. Once this chaos comes to an end, the kind of new format will be unleashed upon the world, and I'll be really excited for the new podcast. You can also check out the YouTube channel, Fat Dude Digs Flicks. Pretty much anywhere Fat Dude Digs Flicks, you can find me, and just join in the conversation.
All right, yeah, guys, please go check out Andy at Fat Dude Digs Flicks. You can check us out. We're on the same stuff he is on the Facebook, the Twitter, the Instagram, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, and YouTube. We're pretty easy to find, backlot605.com. I'm going to leave off with one question for all three of us here. Here we are. We're all sitting at home. We all need stuff to watch. For people listening, can you guys give one recommendation of something you watched recently on streaming that you would recommend to people out there listening?
Go for it, Andy.
Oh, okay. I would say the price is steep. The price is definitely steep. But the that they were able to release The Invisible Man to watch at home because I missed it in theaters was something I leapt on, and man, that is a great movie. Very intense, just super use of tension. There was a scene that literally made my jaw drop because I was just like, holy shit, that happened. Yeah, I would say The Invisible Man is great.
As for someone who had an opportunity to see that in the theater, you are absolutely correct.
Yeah, I wish I would have, if for for nothing else, but just seeing how other people reacted to the uh, one of the characters.
Is it the restaurant scene?
Yep,
Okay, yes.
yep, yeah,
Okay.
We'll leave it at that.
yeah. Yeah, wonderful movie. If you don't want to pay $20, I would also recommend Big Time Adolescence on Hulu. Pete Davidson is great in that movie.
Did you just use the word Pete Davidson and great in the same sentence?
I did. He was wonderful in that movie. It was a really delightful surprise.
I'm intrigued, and that actually makes me more curious for his role in the Suicide Squad coming up here.
Yeah, yeah. I think if he's given a little bit of time to, I mean, it's Pete Davidson basically being a stoner. So I
So
mean,
he
it's
being
not.
himself.
Yeah. So I mean, maybe nothing like above and beyond, but he's good. He was good in it.
He is the kind of person I think that people just have this preconceived notion of him and just doesn't give him an opportunity. So it's good to hear that you enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, big time, big time. Really liked it.
Brian, what do you got?
I will tell you, and I partially blame you, Casey, for this, but I literally, as Andy's saying, "Hey, I'm home. I'm ready to let's get this thing recording," and when I just finished up the first of 7 movies because you made me say this, and I had to go look and start doing it. I just finished watching the first Police Academy after I don't know, probably 15, 20 years, and I'm like, I'm just gonna keep going. There's 6 more to go, all on Netflix.
Oh,
Yeah,
awesome.
I will echo that because yeah, we were talking about this off air, and yeah, I watched the first of Police Academy movie, and I'm like, yeah, might as well just binge watch the rest of them at some point.
You know,
It's fun. They're fun. They're mindless entertainment, and
Oh yeah,
they do, the jokes aren't as PC as most would be, but they're still
no.
funny.
they're
Uh,
definitely a product of their time.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Pitching a killer countdown where we rank the Police Academy
the Police
characters.
Academy movies.
Yes.
Let's let's do it. I'm down for that.
Who says Killer Countdown has to be all horror movies? It could be some ones that are just genuinely bad.
I haven't
You
seen the
could.
sequel, so they might be horror movies.
They're not great, but you could even do a show of ranking the characters, even like the Police Academy characters. Tackleberry, Hightower,
Jones.
Jones.
I'll
Oh,
call Gutenberg on the phone, see if he wants to guest host for that one.
Oh my god.
We could probably get him too.
Yeah. What's his cameo fee?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I'll echo that one too with Police Academy. For me, I had a recent watch that I just missed in theaters, and it's been on Disney Plus, I think, for a little while now. And if you haven't watched it yet or want something to rewatch that you watched in theaters last year, Toy Story 4. What a delightful little movie. I was kind of expecting just a fun romp with Woody and Buzz and some fun new characters. I wasn't expecting a very heartfelt, emotional ending that actually brought me to tears. I don't cry in movies very often, but Toy Story 3 and 4 both got me. Those stupid little toys just struck my black soul and made me cry.
And I would
That damn cowboy.
and Key and Peele were Key and Peele
Oh, they're fantastic in that.
and Keanu Reeves were all beautiful additions to that film.
Yeah, I thought 3 was a perfect ending, and I'm like, well, if we're gonna hang out with Buzz and Woody, that's all right. But this is very much a welcome addition to that series.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
All
if you'd
right,
like, and if you'd like to know, Steve Gutenberg's cameo fee is 150.
let's
Worth
do it.
it.
Let's do it. We're gonna get the Gutenberg.
We can get him as far as introing the show, probably.
Yeah.
That would kind of rule.
Worth it.
Right? We got Steve Gutenberg.
To intro our killer countdown on Police Academy.
Oh, awesome.
Be on the lookout for that, I guess. I don't know.
I would say that is money well spent during this pandemic.
Yes. We
That
got to
is
help Steve
fantastic.
Gutenberg during these troubled times.
And I will still go back and say that if anybody's going to go see a supporting role of Steve Gutenberg, to go watch Les Bomb, because to have him be the stoner uncle was fantastic.
Please, just go watch Steve Gutenberg movies. That's all we need to do to make this feel okay in the world again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We
I'm
could
good
all
with that.
use a little Gutenberg. Yeah, so let's wrap this thing up one more time. Andy, everybody can find you at Fat Dude Digs Flicks on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Brian, they can find you at LP Freak on Instagram.
Yes, sir.
And anything else that you want to plug? LP Freak on Letterboxd as well.
Yep, that's where they can find me.
And Andy, you are on Letterboxd? Is it Fat Dude Digs Flicks?
Yeah, I think it's Fat Dude Digs Flicks or Fat Dude Flicks, one of the above. So
Easy to find you.
Jeez, man.
Oh,
Get your shit straight.
Listen, they have character limits, Brian. It makes it very difficult.
You can find me on Instagram, Casey _ the horror guy. And yeah, that's where you can find us. So thank you, Andy, for joining us on this episode. We're going to have you on very soon, I hope, once again.
Awesome. I love being here. This is so much fun. It's always fun to talk about crazy ass remakes. So
Yes, the Gasparnoid remakes of Police Academy.
Oh my god.
Brian, thank you for calling on the line.
Well, duh. That's what I'm here for.
We got to figure out what we're doing next week because this Corona stuff is messing up our schedule. So we got to figure that out. But until next time, this has been the Backlot 605 podcast, and we'll see you later.